Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We're continuing our budget Mardu series. We're looking at red card draw enchantments this time. So when I say budget, I mean $2 or less, and I'm going by the TCG market value. So yeah, not a sponsor. I am going to always say that. Red card draw, or card draw, is not a strength of red in general. It takes a very different approach to card draw. So yeah, there's usually two main methods, and we're going to talk about some others too. But anyway, rummaging, where you discard a card, then draw a card. And then there's exile from the top of your library, and then you have to play it that turn. So the kind of built-in downside for each one of those is, of course, discarding. Unless you're using Madness, that's not good. And if you exile the card and don't cast it that turn, it's just gone, right? You kind of have to like use it or lose it with that one. So it is you do have access to the card, but it's like a limited time. Also, the other kind of maybe somewhat hidden disadvantage is that when it's in exile, everyone can see it, right? So if you're casting that, it's not in your hand where no one knows what you're playing until you decide to play it. They might have a little more forewarning. So that can be a downside, but anyway. Honorable mentions. I usually don't do honorable mentions for these ones, or for the Mardu series, but I am going to do it for this one. 10 Street Market, okay? Enchant land, or a land aura, whatever you want to call it. You can tap to discard a card to draw a card, right? It gives a land rummaging, which can be very helpful, especially, again, if you've got the Madness deck, or a deck where you want to get things into the graveyard. This is a very, very great card to have. If you've got some kind of graveyard recursion, you might be able to use this to cheat creatures into play. Aggressive mining. This is a very niche one. Huge downside. You can't play lands. You can't play lands is not fun. And sacrifice a land to draw 2 cards. Activate this ability only once each turn. Again, if you want to be getting lands into your graveyard, you do kind of need something to maybe bounce this back to your hand again, but it could potentially be useful to get them into your graveyard so you can pull them out again. But yeah, kind of depends. If you have a deck that really wants to sacrifice lands, then could be useful. But anyway, drawing 2 cards is very good. Blood Sun. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So you do just get to draw a card with this one. All lands lose all abilities except for mana abilities. Okay, so a lot of the colorless lands will have some kind of special ability that makes them kind of awesome. And this shuts that down. Okay, so decks that maybe use a lot of like unusual lands, you can kind of shut down a whole strategy of theirs. So this is very much a counter card, which is why I don't want to put in the main one, but it is very good for if you know someone's going to be using a deck that has a lot of like kind of unusual abilities on lands, you can just turn them all off. Anyway, all of these are under 40 cents, or 40 cents and under, I should say. 40 cents and under, so let's give it good. Okay, first up, we have Case of the Crimson Pulse. Alright, so it's ETB. You discard a card, draw 2 cards. Usually rummaging is 1 for 1, so this is kind of better. But yeah. It does force, you have to discard when it's solved, but you draw 2 at the beginning of every turn. Once again, that can be very good, right? If you've got a deck where you're constantly out of cards, that becomes an advantage rather than a disadvantage with this. Okay? So yeah. Again, if you have no cards in hand, that's how you solve this one. I kind of like this mechanic where it's like solving a case thing, where if you meet a condition, it kind of almost levels it up. But anyway. Yeah. One last thing I want to point out about this one. You discard your hand at the end of your turn, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, you discard your hand, and then you draw 2 cards. All right. So remember, beginning of upkeep, you're going to draw 2 cards, and then you're going to draw a card for your upkeep. So you're going to be drawing 3 cards at the beginning of every turn. That's actually really good, right? Situational, but very good in that situation. Anyway, 66 cents. Prophetic Ravings. Okay, this is actually very much like that land, the 10th Street Market land, but for creatures. Again, it gives the creature discard a card to draw a card. There are a lot of creatures that have this ability, so maybe you just want to use one of them. This is kind of more flexible because you can throw it on any creature. Even you can make a token creature and give it that. So yeah. Anyway, 5 whole cents for that one. Mind Moil. Okay, this is a weirder one. Sort of rummagey. But anyway, whenever you play a spell, put cards in your hand on the bottom of your library and draw that many. This is kind of better than rummaging because you are not discarding. They're going back into your library, right? And you can organize them any way you want. You're probably going to end up going through your deck a few times if this is on the battlefield for a while. So you can potentially cycle through your deck a couple times and keep getting all the spells you want. So this can be amazing, right? It can be. Oh, I think my camera is falling, but anyway. Yeah. It's an unusual effect for red, but it is a very, very good one. The real downside is that you need cards in hand for this to be really useful. Right? You want to have as many cards as you can, and then you're going to be drawing that many cards every time. So anyway, 68 cents for that one. Oh, what is your favorite budget enchantment? Red budget enchantments, right. Also, please hit like and subscribe. It really does help a lot. People have been great about it so far, so I can't complain. Curse of Chaos. This is one of those aura curses. I really like these. A lot of this is about incentivizing people to attack someone else. So that can just be all kinds useful right there. So any other player attacking that player that you put it on basically gets to discard and then draw. So basically everyone has access to a rummage other than the player that's getting attacked. And it really does. I think a lot of people will be like, oh, who do I attack? I do get a bonus for attacking this person. I can, discard one card, draw another card. That might make it worthwhile just to even throw one attacker at them or something. So that can really add up throughout the game. Anyway, 33 cents for that one. I think it's one that's very easy to underestimate, but anyway. The Flux. Okay, our number 1 here is the Flux. It is a saga. So, yeah. First of all, it does 4 damage to target creature. Very good start. That will kill most things. And then, for the next 4 turns, you exile the top card of your library, and you may play that land on your turn. Again, it's basically like an extra card, but you gotta use it or lose it, right? And then the 5th turn, add 6 mana, or 6 red mana, I should say. That's actually pretty crazy. I mean, it's kind of like drawing 4 cards, doing 4 damage, and then giving you 6 mana. It doesn't need to be on the battlefield for 5 turns to get that done, but it's it would be very good for that. Again, sorry, 6 turns to get that. I'm not thinking Roman numerals right. Oh boy. Anyway, 22 cents. Okay, so the list. Curse of the Crimson Pulse, 66 cents. Prophetic Ravings, 28 cents. Mind Moil, 68 cents. Curse of Chaos, 33 cents. And the Flux is only 22 cents. This is probably the one where I look at and I go, oh, that's going to go up. That's going to go 22 cents right now. I think in a couple of years you'll look that up and it'll be like 10 bucks or something. But maybe not that much, but it's definitely going to be worth more than 22 cents. Okay, take it easy.